Welcome back to Kitchen Table Discussions. Well, there we are. I was supposed to have it just on us, so we can the reveal, and I fucked it up. At least it's better than last week. I completely I set up not that this has anything to do with anything, but I set up like a producer's table. I have a podcast that I produce in here that's not mine, so I like to be out of the way. And I had to keep running back and forth. It was a pain in the dick. Anyways, to all of our listeners and those that are here for our special guests, we have special guests. Now, I made a joke when you came in earlier that we were, I was going to title this, something along the lines that we were going to use our made up superhero names. And I don't. If you want to use your real names, it's completely up to you. I'm going to keep calling. I only know you as Silver, and I followed you because it's it's Munkeyfish.
That's me.
So say hello to Munkeyfish and Silver, and let me. Of course, I dropped my shit. There we go.
That's okay.
Applause.
Nope.
But you can call me Cleet too. I don't care.
Okay, Cleet.
Just don't call him late for dinner.
Amen to that.
Same.
Yeah. We had to scarf down some food. We were a little running a little behind as well, so it's not a biggie.
I went from the mud run to flying down 95, ordering a pizza while I was driving, so I could have something to eat.
Oh yeah, you did that this morning, right? The mud run.
Yeah. So it was a breast cancer fundraiser, and so there's breast cancer in my family. My sister and one of my aunts had it, and both thankfully beat it. However, any opportunity that I get. When I'm physically able to do stuff like that, which I'm no spring chicken.
Yeah. How many miles or whatever did you have to do? Is it just like?
It's a traditional 5K. It was a 16 obstacle course through mud, up and down slides, and through all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Again, no spring chicken.
Are you? Well, let me just say thanks for coming out after doing all. Did you do it as well, or?
Oh, yeah, it was a women's only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. That works for me because I don't do stuff like that. I'm not a big active person.
Oh, neither am I.
Yeah.
But it's for the titties.
You gotta save the tatas.
Save the tatas.
For sure. Well, I asked you guys on here. Well, we had met before and we talked for a long time.
7 hours. I'm surprised that you didn't think that I kidnapped him.
She don't care. No. She's like whatever. She just sits there and plays her little game and everything. She had no idea I was even gone, probably. Yeah, but I was thinking to myself when we talked about doing this, like. We usually only go for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, this could go forever. It could be a long show, but that's all right. If we go over an hour, it's totally fine if the conversation's good. And ultimately, we share photography in common. You're also you. All right. I'm gonna fuck up all your attributes. I know you're a. Is it a rope rigger? Can I say that?
I'm a rigger and bottom and switch. So I'm a switch, so I'm a rigger and a bottom, but I also self-suspend as well.
Okay. Cool. And do you partake in any of the riggings and?
I watch.
That's probably where I'd be. Yeah. That's why I've talked to you about doing photography. I just rather do that.
He's watched me 2 or 3 times now. Actually, watched me do a full-on scene.
Yeah.
He did let me practice on him once.
Okay.
I had learned a tie, and it was not a tie that I could tie on myself because my hands would be bound. And I come home and I'm like, I need to practice this tie. I need to do it within the first 24 hours or I'm going to freaking forget it. I need to practice. Please, 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 please.
And he was a sport. And said,
He was very receptive, and it was probably one of the worst ties I've ever tied.
Oh, man. How long have you been doing that?
Rigging for 3 years. In rope total for about 5.
Okay. Is there like a set amount of time, how long it takes to where you feel confident? Or what was, I guess, probably a better question is like, how long did it take you to feel confident tying other people and all those things? Quickly? Or are you still not confident?
Let's say I throw caution to the wind, but I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
My very first year, I literally tied every single day.
Oh, wow.
Even if it was just 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. If I sat down to watch TV, I had my rope out. Mm-hmm. If I was just, screwing off in the house doing whatever, I had my rope out. Like every single day, I made sure that I practiced because it wasn't just, learning the knots,
right,
but gaining the manual dexterity in my hands. Mm-hmm. I'm one of the few people that can tie with either hand.
Oh, wow.
And I have no coordination with my left hand at all.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I can tie behind my back with my non-dominant hand better than I can my dominant.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment. Yeah. I mean, I can't tie my shoes.
You can't even tie your shoes. You got Velcro, don't you?
I do. Well, my motorcycle boots have a zipper on the side.
Yep.
And I slip on my Vans. I don't ever untie them. So yeah, I don't do that. But that's really cool. How long have you? And mind you, we probably already talked about a lot of this.
Oh
stuff,
no, it's fine.
But we're gonna kind of cover. So we'll just act like we never met.
Who are you? What am I? Where am I?
Who are you? What are we doing here? No, but I was gonna ask like how long in the lifestyle in the community and that type of thing.
So lifestyle has been
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, lifestyle total has been off and on since I was 18. This community is pushing 9 years now, I think, for me.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, somewhere around. Yeah, because McFly, I've known him for 9 years now, and he was the one that kind of started to introduce me to a few people here and there.
Marty?
Yeah.
Oh, I was joking.
No,
McFly.
that's yeah.
Is that his real name?
It's one of his real names.
Oh. I was gonna say, wow.
Depends on who's asking.
It depends on who's asking. It's a nickname that was bestowed upon him well before me, and that's how I was introduced to him. And so, however you tell me your name is what you are forever and a day.
Yeah, I know that's the way I am as well. Like I said, when I met you, it was Silver, and that's I know you have a real name. I've seen it on Facebook. I don't remember it.
Oh, it doesn't say that anymore now. So
I completely gapped it. I'm like, this is just Silver.
Well, and eventually my goal is to be able to pull that I think it's almost $600 now to actually legally change my name to Silver.
Oh, okay.
So it's that one last thread that ties me to the parental unit.
Yeah. Well, I got a
Mommy
leg up
issues.
then. There's always some kind of issues, right? It's either daddy or mommy.
Oh, I got them both.
Oh, 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I'm special.
Gotta love that. Yeah. I would really like to talk about something that I wanted to talk about, especially with her in a room, is you run a women's group, yeah?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So Women's Only Munch Brunch. It had originally started off of, we heard multiple women complaining about the same person and the same issues. Most of these women did not even know each other. And education's been a big thing for me for a long time, especially lifestyle education. But myself and another, we had been talking about doing an educational thing, but then it kind of rolled into, wow, we really need a women's-based education on things in the lifestyle. how to read a FetLife profile, how to vet people, so you want to meet, So we take those issues and we wrap it into our women's group. But it's not just those type of issues. We've got our next one on June 11th. Nice plug there, huh?
I like that. That's nice.
It's about self-confirming biases. We hit some of the harder stuff that you don't hear a lot of people talking about within the lifestyle. You talk about a lot of DSs where, let's say a daddy, oh, you did that great. Yeah, I know, Daddy, thank you. I worked so hard, da-da-da-da-da. Or you were horrible. What in the hell were you thinking? And, well, it was this, this happened or that happened or you should have done this. It's displacing blame and really focusing on the blame instead of, okay, we messed up. What do we learn from this?
Right.
So trying to roll that just from even my own personal experiences with different issues and trying to move away from the blame game, but bettering ourselves within our life as a Kingster or in our quote-unquote vanilla life, if you have one of those. I don't think I do.
So you're 24/7, yeah?
I pretty much am. Almost everybody that I work with on a day-to-day basis knows that I'm kinky as hell. That, as I put it, tie bitches up for fun.
Sure, that goes far with the fellas, huh?
Here's the thing, and this really irks me, is I tell the women about it, and they're like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. That is so beautiful. I tell the men about it. Oh my God, that's so hot. And I'm like, no, it's not about that. It may be for some folks, but it's not that for me.
Right.
I mean, not that it can't be. I mean, I've had my moments. Don't get me wrong. But being able to put somebody up in the air with dead grass and make them look absolutely stunning. That, to me, is what it's about. Yeah. The mechanics of understanding how to put somebody up without causing so much damage. There's always damage, and especially if you're putting rope in the same place over and over and over, there's cumulative damage. These are the things that people don't think about that go with it. I love everything about it. I had to learn how to self-tie because, what was it? December 25th of 2019, he bought me my first rope kit. Guess what happened? The world imploded.
Yeah.
I didn't have really anybody to learn from for a while. And it was just haphazard. And I just, a lot of it I figured out on my own. There's others in the community that I did pick up things from. I'm not saying that I'm 100% self-taught, but I had to be self-reliant upon all of that. And my type of attitude, I think, is why I also pulled that in, help pull womb together, is because we need to be self-reliant. Yes, there's a time and a place to have people to lean upon to help prop you up when you need it, but empowering ourselves and empowering the other women around us, which, might I add, when I say women, it's not just genetic women. I don't care where you are in your transition phase or if you choose not to transition. You live your life 24/7 as a woman. You're a woman in my book. I don't give a fuck what's under your skirt.
You can say fuck.
Fuck. But you get the point. It's like, we want to be inclusive and address the problems that we face as women in a lifestyle. Because I tell you what, I have been to rope conventions, and because I'm a female, because I've got tits and a pussy, they stand there.
You can't say pussy.
I can't.
I'm kidding.
But because of that, I've had guys be like, well, you should have done it this way. You should have done it that way. Or do you need help? Bitch, do I look like I need help? I'm bigger than you.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I definitely wouldn't be the one to ask if you needed help. I have always been intrigued by the rope tying and rigging and all that stuff, and I've talked to her. I was like, I'd really like to learn that, and but I'm just something. I don't really want to learn it. I think I just want to say it. I'm too lazy to go and find someone, I think, that will spend the time to actually be able to teach me. You know that, and most people don't have the time, and they're like, who's this guy?
You know, I run St. Augustine Rope Bite as well.
Right. Right. And as you know, it's kind of a hike to get here.
Oh, come on. I don't want to hear that, because guess what? My first couple of years when I was involved with rope, my very first few years, I was putting almost 600 miles a week on my truck.
Good Lord.
On my truck that only got 13 and a half miles to a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And I worked from home. So it was not work accumulating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You weren't going for a joyride on that one. Yeah. No, I just think it's great that you provide that service for women, and I think that is a big problem. We've talked about that before. Is just I can hear my dog scratching.
Yeah.
He's killing.
Yeah,
It's probably
it's
the
Bear
little blind one.
Yeah, it's definitely Bear.
I was going to say, it didn't sound like
Reese's,
a heavy paw.
No, he doesn't. All he can hear things. But anyways, I do that all the time.
I've watched.
Sidebar. Yeah, it's the ADD brain. It's like squirrel. But we talked about that, and there are a lot of. I don't worry so much about men coming into the lifestyle, because they're gonna. I know this is a constant. It's the trope, and hey, men don't need any help. We don't need. No, I get it that men can get hurt too.
Yes,
but I tend to worry more about the women, especially younger ladies that are getting into the lifestyle. I've spoken to a number of them, and in my experience in this lifestyle, and they're new to the situation. They got with somebody that said they were a quotey fingers dom, and basically they just used it as an excuse to beat the fuck out of a girl,
to abuse them,
or the sexual aspect of it,
or to rape them. Yeah.
And
they don't know any better.
No. And I wholeheartedly believe in setting yourself up for success. And sometimes some of these younger women that come into this lifestyle, they just don't have the tools or know where to start. And there's some great groups that are in this area to help with that. But at the same time, you've got so much going on where it's only geared to submissives, or it's only geared to dominance, or it's it's a wabash of everything. Yeah. And a lot of times, and at least from my experience, females tend to be a little shyer. The women, when they're coming into this, they are the wallflowers for the most part.
Right.
And they don't know which way to go.
Right.
And if this helps just one woman, great. I'm accomplished then. I've done what I've set out to do, which is to educate somebody. If it helps more than that, awesome. And you know what? Sometimes we don't do the heavy stuff, and we'll sit down. Okay, it's a mimosa Sunday.
Yeah.
We need a mental break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
like that.
just having women to hang out with, and because we're still discussing lifestyle stuff.
Sure.
It's just not a set topic or set speakers or whatever. We're just discussing, much like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just amongst the gals.
Right.
And it makes them feel a little more comfortable. And it's in a home setting. We set up in my backyard most of the time, unless the weather's just too crap.
Right.
But we set up at my house. I actually have security cameras running, so that way I can make sure I see all the vehicles that are coming through the neighborhood. It just, one extra layer of security, where if I were to host something like this out in the public, at a restaurant, there are always possibilities of that guy or woman or, some
whoever,
person looking as, that's a smorgasbord. Take my pick.
Well, and I don't know if I talked to you about it, but I mean, like, we had our I think, was it our last experience at CJK, or the old one?
Yeah.
Or CKJ, whatever the fuck. Yeah, CKJ. I always get those mixed up.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was there, and she was a little out of it, spaced out after riding the Sibian for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I don't exactly, and I could probably explain it better because she was kind of that far out of it. But folks, if you don't know what a Sibian is, you'll have to Google that. I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. Hi, Mom. Google Sibian.
My mom knows what a Sibian is.
Yeah, I know she does.
Mom, what's a Sibian?
Yeah, I want one for
I'll
Christmas.
explain it to you later, honey.
Can you show me?
Nice. If you're lucky, you're a good boy. But yeah, she had been on there, and we got her off of there. It was like, pulling gum off her shoe.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, I was over cleaning up her fucking mess. I mean, she kind of torrential downpour, but anyways, so we went and put her on a towel on the couch, and I went to go clean up, and our friend Kelly came over, and she was like, "Hey, you need to go over there and check on her. I'll take care of the rest of this." So bless her heart, I didn't want to clean it up at all. But I go over there, and there's a dude. There was two couches, like adjacent, like an L, and he was sitting on the one like across from her. And I could see him as I was walking. He's kept scooching, and she's completely naked, closer and closer. So I go over, and I bring her a water, and I sat down next to her, and I just looked at. I was like, "Hey, can I help you?" No, I'm fine. And he scooted back over. And, I can't remember if it was you that asked him or if it was me, but one of us was like, what are you doing here? Because he was just literally by himself, just sitting there. Well, he tells us that he was told by, this is a long story. I'm horrible at telling stories. He told us that some buddies, he's in the military, and that some of his buddies said that this is the place to go to get pussy. And he was blown away. He said, "I've never been to a place like this. It's crazy. This is what you guys do every night. You just come around here and just." I was like, "No, that's not what this is."
Well, and with CKJ, I'm a VIP to CKJ.
Yeah.
I've seen the gambit there.
Yeah.
I've been to other clubs, and unfortunately, that happens anywhere and everywhere that allows sex.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's a time and a place for that kind of participation. Won't lie to you, I've fucked there many a times. But I think that's the difference between the BDSM community and the swinger community. We're definitely there for the BDSM,
right?
And the swingers, or I shouldn't even say swingers, because at this point, it's the Joe Schmoes or the lilies coming off the street
the
wannabe swingers, that they're using it as a disguise to get in. Kind of, with whomever may be there. And unfortunately, you're going to come across that many, many places.
Oh, absolutely. I was just happy I was there, because God knows what he would have done if I wasn't.
There was... I don't know if I told you the story. You ready to hear it, Daddy? So... there was a group of us. We lovingly called it the Oyster Eaters Club. So that kind of explains what it was about.
Okay.
There were a bunch of us having a grand old time in one of the rooms, and this guy comes in, and he's leaning up against one side of the room, and he's like, "Hey, can I join?" We're ignoring him.
Right.
Can I join? Can I join? And then the next thing you know is 3 inches from my face, there's a fucking dick in my face, basically.
Lord.
And he's like, "Hey, can I help out? Can I join?" And I'm like, I'm literally like, motherfucker, if you don't get away from me, I'm going to cut your fucking dick.
Yeah, as well you should have.
And like immediately, you know, he vacated, but I'm the loudest one of the group, and I'm going to be the, you know, we tried the passive route where it's like, okay, if you ignore them long enough, they'll go away.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he just was not going away. And you got to stand up for yourself and say something.
Yeah.
And, you know, rounding this back to womb, that's kind of, you know, that education where we empower them to be able to say, get the fuck out of my face.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, take the stance for themselves to educate themselves on where they're going, what they're doing, and to provide an extra layer of safety. Just because, and, you know, with anything, you can try to mitigate all of the issues. Something still can go wrong.
Right.
It's not a fail safe.
Yeah.
It's not a fail safe.
Nothing's 100%.
No.
For sure.
But at least arming these women with information that can be useful. That's the big thing, is, you know, empowering them to take charge in their own journey, their own path throughout this. And if they're there for 2 months or 20 years.
Right.
That's the take.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Makes sense. No, I applaud that for sure. Yeah, we I mean, and I don't know if there are any groups like that for men, but I think that they might need it. Because there are some, I'm going to tell you, like when I was timid as fuck when I got into this lifestyle, you know, and the first time I went to that club, I was just like, you know, I've been to house parties and things of that nature, but never anything that magnitude.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And I mean, you know, when I went with her, I think it was probably my second time going ever. And when we went with Mike and we were doing a scene in the Red Room, he was our friend Mike. We talked. Yeah, you know him. So we were
I'm like, wait a minute.
She knows that.
Yeah.
So we were off. They were over
he made
here.
my first vlogger.
And,
That's awesome.
And we were off to the side, and I won't say any names or anything, but there was a gentleman that came into the room, and they have chairs lined up right inside the door. You know, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that if you're going to come in and sit. You know, but this, like, I get one of these while I'm in the middle of, you know, we're hot and heavy, and you know, there's her ass is already starting to get pink, you know, and we're getting warmed up, just, you know, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
You are nicer than me.
oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I am very timid when it comes to that. Like, I'll give a lot of people a lot of leeway. You know, but when he started asking me if he could be next and doing all this crazy shit, I was just like, look, we're gone. We're out of here. I was like, Mike, I'll see you later. I'm out of here. We're going to pack our shit up and leave. We can do this at home.
You know, my favorite question that I hear a lot of newbies that come into the clubs like that, they'll go up to a gal that they think that is going to be timid and, you know, like easy rollover kind of thing. And they're like, so what are you into? One of my friends, the best retort ever. She just sweetly turned her head up and looked at him and goes, decapitation, how about you?
You got to freak them out more than they freak you out, right? That's one way to do it.
Oh, I about pissed myself standing there laughing.
So
I
you
was
were there. Okay. It's one thing to hear about it, but when you're standing there, it's hard.
Like, no, seriously, she's just as sweet as sweet can be, because she's got like this little bit of an angelic face, like she could do no wrong. And she just turned her head up. Decapitation. How about you?
That's hilarious. Do you have any decapitation stories?
No.
Or I mean, not decapitation.
I only have the, like, dealing with DMs and stuff like that.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Jinx!
Well,
Yell me a Coke.
I've not had any experiences like in person like
Okay.
that, but you know, I like to match energy sometimes. So when people DM me out of the blue,
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dungeon Masters.
you know, and it'll be like,
Sweat
you
my
know,
Oh, I don't have my Dungeon
we
Dragons
were on the same level.
yeah. So
Oh, she shuts them down in the DMs, is what it is.
Yeah,
that's what she's trying to say.
Dick pic, and then talks about what they want to do to me, and then I'll respond with a picture of a dude like face down with something up his ass, tied up, and I'll be like, "This is what I'm into. I'm ready. Let's go." Yeah. And they like immediately. Like either won't respond at all or they fucking flip out, and then it's great.
You're gonna find that one dude that says I'm ready.
Yeah, oh, she's found him already. Yeah. What's funny is they'll be like
John.
they'll be like never, no thank you, and then 2 months later she won't hear from him. 2 months later, hey, you still available?
Wow.
You want to jam some shit in my ass? I'm like, hey, you know what? Take that shit somewhere else.
So, not by any means of the imagination a swinger. I'm more poly than anything.
Right.
But I used to help run swingers chats.
Right.
And we had a feeder group and then the private group. And of course, everybody that comes through the feeder group, we try to weed out the weasels and the BSers, right? This guy joins the group. Sorry, I chuckle every time I even think about this. So he's talking with everybody in the chat.
Keep going. I'm gonna go take care of this little.
You've heard this story.
Entertain them. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
But he's talking with everybody in the chat, and it's like, okay, he seems somewhat decent, like normal-ish for And then one of the gals sends me a private message saying, "This dude just sent me a dick pic," and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I go to private messages, and he's already struck a conversation with me because I asked him to verify with me. So I had an open line of communication already. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why are you talking to my chick? And he's like, so I just so happen keep a couple of spare dick pics on my phone. The largest ones that I can keep and find. Like there's a special folder on my phone. So I'm like, your little dick ain't going to compare to this. And he's like, oh, it doesn't look that big. I'm like, oh, yeah? Just wait. I'll have you bent over with it. And so, I'm going back and forth. And then she messages me again. And it's like, oh, my God. He just sent me another pic. But he says it's him now, but it doesn't look the same at all.
Oh my
and I'm like,
gosh.
Please send me a screenshot. Send me a screenshot.
Oh, Lord.
He sent her the one I sent him.
Oh no.
And I'm like, now you're claiming my dick is yours. Like, dude, what the
Oh my gosh.
I came in on that conversation at the right time.
He left.
Yeah, I bet he did.
He was rather embarrassed that he got caught.
Yeah.
Okay, say it all again real fast. I'm joking.
Right.
I was going to say no.
Dick pic run.
Dick pic run.
Dick pic run. I can't say that I've never I've never led with a dick pic. I can't
but
say
you
that.
finished with him?
No, I'm saying I've done that before in my early days of singledom, after 20 years of marriage, and I'm like dating again, and I'm meeting all these people, and then I get in on these dating sites, and I got into the kink lifestyle from Kick, oddly, which is the weirdest thing ever, because when I got Kick whenever my kids were little, because they wanted to like FaceTime, and I had a Droid and they had iPhones, and I couldn't, so we used it as because it's got the FaceTime feature on it. But
yeah.
And after my divorce, I'm in my apartment, and I'm like, I started getting messages, and I'm like, what the fuck is Kick? I don't even have do I have this app? And I click it, and it's of course it's a bot. They're just trying to pull you in. Then I started exploring, and I found groups, and I was like, oh, these people are cool. And I started talking and making everybody laugh.
Did you ever swing through the Batcave?
Say again? What pray tell is the Bat Cave?
That was the group I had picked.
That's the name.
So like it had started years way before I had anything to do with it.
Right.
And I had made friends of friends of friends, and I was pulled into the Bat Cave. And then, some people just want to take a break from everything. So eventually it turned over to my hands, and I had the Bat Cave, for like 3 years, something. But then it's like, okay, my work life got crazy and I was traveling everywhere, and I'm like, I can't deal with trying to verify people when I'm in the Philippines or, wherever. So it just got to the point where it's like, okay, y'all need to take this stuff back. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. And I actually left Kick for quite a while. Just didn't want anything.
Didn't jive?
No, it was just too much. And on top of that, I'm really not a swinger,
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just swingers when I was in there, but because I didn't even know what a swinger was at that time. I started meeting people that were into rope and the flogging and, I was like, what's a dom? I had no idea, and I rapidly found all these people, and we started like actually meeting.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'm like, it's just stuff on the phone, it's something to do for 4 hours at night when I got off. I didn't have anything else to do.
So you can get off.
No. Oddly enough, my sex life was really fucking good until I found Kick. And then I lost all my shit. I had like a rotation and everything, and then it just like, because I spent all my fucking spare time just in the fucking chat.
Yeah.
With people. But, we started meeting up like once a week, and I was like, they're cool people, and then I got invited to some house parties, and I'm like, oh, they're tying. Okay, he's beating her ass. That's nice. Okay. She's sucking his dick. Okay. Everything was cool. I was like, this is the life for me. I love this, So I found FET, and didn't understand it, all that good stuff, and then I was very unstable at that moment in time, so I did one of those things. I used to do this thing where I would leave a group and then come back and then leave, like drama, cause drama, like, where have you been? And people would I'd come back in the group like, Jim, what's up, man, where you been? I'm like, bro, you don't even know, man. She broke my heart. A whole bunch of bullshit.
I'm gonna make him a crown now.
Oh, fuck me, Ronnie.
Just
make it really small.
Next time I see you, I'm gonna have a crown encrusted with fake jewels.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm not ashamed.
One of the Burger King ones.
There you go.
Well, no, actually, I was gonna implore the Spawn to make it for us.
The Spawn.
Yeah.
The Seed.
Well,
I call mine the Seed.
She's actually a legal adult now.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
She became legal in January.
Yeah, who are we to start to have at least they made it. They're alive still. You're still working on one.
I know.
Dude. She was applying to jobs without me even saying something.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive for an 18-year-old to be doing that.
Yeah.
I'm 18. They still needing their asking their parents to do things for them.
I was flabbergasted, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
good for her.
Go on, girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was my little entrance into that whole life, and then I fucking met her, and it just went weird,
Just went weird.
I mean,
weird,
but in like a good weird, like a good. I never thought that I would be like someone's dom,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to. I used to kind of scoff at it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think that's because I felt like. I was like, it seems a little narcissistic. It seems like these people are just, because every dude that I talked to that I knew in Kick was like that. They were like, yeah, man. They rate women on a scale of 1 to 10. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. I got a little triggered with Evie's little dude.
Yeah.
He's rate me from 1 to 10 every day with this. They're like 13. Like, fuck off. You're a negative 25. I don't. What do you? grow a pube. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But I just, like I said, I never thought that would happen. And we were dating and doing all the things. We were doing all the things. And she was talking about like getting like finding herself a dom, and I was just like, I started to feel some kind of way about that. I was like, oh, not jealousy, but I was just like,
nah, he just wants to cock his leg up and piss on it, and it's his now. Right?
No, I want to piss on her. Not my leg. But and I was just like, all right.
Don't you get it?
And it's almost like she was like going, but you're doing everything.
Yeah.
That I need.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and I had to fix. She was trying to get me to figure it out on my own.
Well, it's like with him. So we've been together for how long now?
That long.
5. Apple.
We got an abacus in the back.
Sundial.
All right, so we got together in 01.
Okay.
We got married in 03.
Okay.
So the 18th of September this year is our 20th wedding anniversary.
All right.
Throughout our relationship, he has always been my grounding stone. I am the one that will go, which is funny for a Taurus. I'll go off half-cocked and just like immerse myself into everything. And I need those reins pulled back.
Yeah.
He's the one that pulls those reins back and brings me back to earth. It wasn't until last year that when we were sitting and just kind of talking about a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you realize you're my daddy.
Right.
You are my daddy. You have been that daddy role throughout our relationship.
Oh, I struggled with that word.
I still do. I had to have her look it up and explain it to me 3 times.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to ask for a 4th.
It's just a term, man. Don't get wrapped up in it. But just know it means you're pretty fucking special.
Yeah. Do you see me submitting to anybody else for anything?
Honestly, when I met you, I was like, she's definitely a dom.
I am. Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I am. You should see some of the shit that I do.
Yeah.
But there's that switchiness in me, but I'm very selective on who I will ever submit for. Yeah. And I may bottom all damn day long. I love bottoming.
Right.
But I'm not submitting. And I'm like the one of the worst ones. I'll fucking top from the bottom. Like, nope, your line is wrong. Move it here.
No, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. Well, that's cool, man. Gosh, what was that?
I derailed you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Listen, I derail myself. I mean, it's hard for me because I have to like control all this shit and like think. And I think she's had a gummy, so.
Yeah.
Damn it, I should have had one.
Damn, I should have too. I ain't driving.
Right, there you go. Shit. Well, what do you got? Do you have anything coming up that you would like to talk about? I mean, I don't think anybody's in the live right now, and that's okay.
That's fine.
They'll get to watch the replay, and there'll be the audio version as well. But I'm definitely not done talking.
Oh,
I'm just interested in what you guys got coming up.
For me, you know me. I will sit and talk the ears off of anything.
Well, we started out our first meetup. We started out talking about photography, and that is something for me. I'm like, I mean, you saw like when you came in here, you asked me a question, and then I won't shut the fuck up. Like anything gear related, photography, I'm like, blah, 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 blah,
and that's him with music.
Yeah. Well, I'm also a musician. Oh. So if you need a drummer, although my drums are gone right now, so hopefully you have a kit laying around.
We used to.
I gave away my kit to a friend of mine.
We've given away so much musical. So one of the things that we do is we'll collect some odds and ends. If we see a guitar on sale, we'll pick it up.
If I find any good deals,
like stupid good deals.
Like a music room.
Oh yeah. We'll go back to that in a minute.
I wish I had a music room.
But throughout our 20 years together, if for whatever reason there's a kid or something happens to a fellow musician where, either their equipment broke or it's been stolen, we've donated quite a bit of musical equipment. It may not be the top end, creme de la creme, but it's something that's functioning and it may get them through for what they need.
Right.
And
that's cool.
I can't even.
Who are you donating to?
Just anybody.
Oh.
Anybody that we've given the music equipment to kids, adults,
taking notes,
everywhere in between. Actually, a friend of ours, what was it, last year? I think it was last year. They lost their music equipment to a house fire.
Ooh. Was it last year? I thought it was the year before.
Maybe it was the year. I don't remember. But they lost their bass and their amp and everything to a house fire. And I had my bass that because I like to fool around and play on it and everything, but I just don't have the time. Rope is more interesting than music.
Yeah.
At least playing music anyways.
Yeah.
But I had the bass and I'm like, dude, are you okay with this? Because I'm like, you bought this for me. Are you okay with me giving this away? Because I know this person's going to get more use out of it than I will.
For the love of music.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And he agreed. And so actually they were doing a benefit. A bunch of the leather houses were doing a benefit for them. And I went up there with the little practice amp and bass, and here you go.
Yeah,
wow.
I made sure to clean it up, restring it, set it up, and all that good stuff. So it's ready to go.
Yeah.
I bet they were super happy.
Yes. And they've sent me pictures of them playing it. I get feedback every now and then that, hey,
as long as it's
thank you
being
so
good
much.
use,
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is if we think that it's going to go to somebody that is going to actually use it, it's not going to sit on the shelf and collect dust.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem donating. If we're in the means to, we'll do it. And again, it's just, those things where, it might be what, a $600 bass or $600 guitar, but we found it, secondhand maybe for $150.
Oh yeah.
Or, I think the most expensive one that we given away was like $250 that we paid. But it's just throughout the years we collect.
Right.
And so this is where I said we'll get back to that. When I found out I was pregnant, many, many years ago, 18 plus years ago now, we did have a music room in our first house together. And we took stock of all the music equipment. There were 32 guitars.
Holy shit balls.
2 amplifiers, 2 bass rigs. One bass rig because it was the PV, because it was the 110 and 212s, right? Yeah. I got it right.
It was 8 guitar rigs. It was 8, and then the drums, then the PA.
Was that shit just accumulate over the years?
Yeah.
You couldn't even move in that room.
Really?
You could not even. Well, so, it helps when you're best friends with the person running the music store.
Oh. He's like, hey man, I got a deal.
Yeah, anytime anything new would come in, his music guy would be like, hey, dude,
look this out.
Here's my dealer.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I mean, I waited like this. I don't drink very often, if ever, and I don't do any drugs, so gotta have some bad habit, right?
Yeah, well, hey, I don't think music is a bad habit.
Well, it can be when you have that many guitars.
Well, I didn't say the collection, the hoarding of musical instruments is probably the bad addiction, but the music's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I bought a drum set when I was 19. I got my first credit card, and I went straight to George's Music out on Beach Boulevard and bought that shit. And that's the drum set that I still had to this day, but I gave it to my friend. It was in the shop. I think I told you. I think we talked about that. I had opened a tattoo shop with a friend of mine, and we right around the beginning of the new year, we just kind of, we called it. After about a year, it was like, hey, this is not working out. But I left that there. I was like, you can have that, because he asked me for it, and I was like, cool. I figured he'd just sell it, because that's all I was going to fucking do with it. Honestly, I was like, shit, I got bills to pay, man. I just sell this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's fantastic. I wish I had an extra room that I could just pile fucking musical instruments in. Sure.
Our current music room is kind of a culmination of things now. It's like there's tools, but then there's musical equipment, there's workout equipment, then there's his desk. Like it's kind of a culmination. It's going through its transformation, and it still doesn't know what it wants to be in the end when it comes out of the fucking cocoon.
Oh. You seem like you're a little there's a little tension there.
Oh yeah. Because guess what? I have fucking amplifiers lined up in my hallway.
Oh gosh.
Well, I mean, like if you just like cut the hole around it in the sheetrock and just push them in, it'll look like part of the wall.
Yeah, the bass amps walls are a little thin.
I know. I was just trying to offer a solution. Back to the kink. Like, what stigmas are there in the kink world, like that you're in right now, that you like think that need to be addressed?
Not everything's about sex. Yeah. That is the biggest.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. I have that problem when I'm trying to explain to my vanilla friends her rope thing. The first thing they think of.
She ties you up and books you. Yeah.
Or she does it to other people and
right.
stuff. And that's the first thing I have to squash at the very beginning. And then
right.
send them a little Google link to what shibari is and stuff. You know, I was like, it's not that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the first one that I fight so hard for to dispel, because it's, you know, let's take the rope for example. I very rarely ever tie beyond a clinical tie with someone. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of newbies that come to me that, hey, I've heard you tie and da 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 da. No, never do I ever want anyone to think that I'm taking advantage of, especially, you know, new people. I don't want people to think I'm taking advantage of anybody.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, like I clinically tie. And you know how hard it is to tie somebody with hardly ever touching them? It's damn near impossible. But so it's like we try to cover all the things. Okay, I'm going to have to, and I joke about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to fill you up. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, I need to see where your pressure points are. You know, so we try to have some fun with it, but at this, you know, one, to help them relax so they don't think that I'm like this big, bad, scary person, because I've been often told that I'm intimidating. When you're 6 foot tall and you walk around with a 23-inch mental dick, you know.
Well, definitely, I definitely thought, I was like, did she like fucking grow taller?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember being that fucking tall when the first time we met.
Well,
I think you might have been in a ditch. Like,
actually, no. So if you remember, you were up on the curb, and I was down actually in the the road area.
You did that on purpose, so I would feel.
Yeah, I did.
Not so intimidated.
Yeah.
Well, newsflash, I don't get intimidated that much, but it's all good.
But
no, that is a very good point, and like I mean, I know it's not the same, but I equate it to, and I deal with it in my chosen profession, photography. There's a lot of what I call GWCs, guys with cameras. They go and buy a fucking camera and they start promoting themselves as a photographer, and they want to get girls into a hotel room or somewhere and get them naked and take advantage of them, and it happens so often.
Yeah.
And so I imagine, like, not that I imagine it's probably somewhere along the lines. I'm sure it's just an offshoot of something that feels that way.
Yeah.
But I'd like to dispel that myth, but it just keeps fucking happening.
Yeah.
You know, for people in my profession, and on conversely, I'm super professional when I'm shooting. I mean, I could have both your legs over my fucking shoulders if I'm in here with a fucking flash in my camera. I'm trying to, well, thank God it's weather sealed, but, you know, I'm trying to, you know, get the shot. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I don't care.
Doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It's you're in a role to perform a job.
Exactly.
And it's not beyond that. And that's how I tell people all the time, I don't really scene a lot of times because, you know, I may be putting somebody up in the air, but for me, that's not a scene. I'm just a tool for them to experience something. When I seen, it's a whole nother ball game. I'm kind of a dick. My last bottom, I drug her across the room by her hip harness with crotch rope in it. So
nice. That was consensual, yeah?
Oh, yes, it was.
Of course it was.
So, but that for me is the biggest one. Is it's just not all about the sex. Yeah. My one gal that I tie with, I'm her kinky chiropractor.
Oh.
I use rope to actually help her stretch muscles.
Popping and snapping.
Well, so she has a medical condition that her joints actually easily dislocate.
Oh, wow.
So it ups the game big time.
I bet.
That I have to be spot on, but I can't just go in and say, I'm going to do this and this and this to you. We actually have to sit down. We have to talk about it and really find out where her muscles are, what she's been having problems with, and how we can use rope to actually help her.
Yeah.
So there, even though she's extremely limber, she's not able to actually stretch her muscles the way they need to be stretched to keep her, from hurting herself. So we use rope to help her with that.
Yeah.
And so we sit down, and sometimes it can take 20 minutes for us to talk about it and see, where I can be of help to her. So again, it's not about the sex.
Yeah.
It just isn't. What would be something else that
Well,
it wouldn't be.
On that vein, like that was like I know you kind of mentioned the not hatred but the dislike for swingers. We've tried to delve into the swinging lifestyle, and that was one of the things that I don't know if you felt the same way, but like I felt like they wanted to kink so bad, but they were swingers, and that's what they knew.
Yeah.
And so they would make there would be a peppering of people that get it in there. But for the most part, it was like, we're here. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know, but it's all gonna end up in fucking, And I just, it was a weird situation for me, and for her, I'm sure. I mean, we're not the most charismatic type people, I guess is the right word. I don't know. We don't like get out there. Hey, my name's Bob. Hey, nice to meet you. We're not. I mean, we'll come into a scene and just be like, fucking Daria, just wallflower it, not interested, whatever. But
Sick, sad world.
yeah. I wasn't sure if that would go over everyone's heads,
no. I'm a huge Daria fan. Huge Daria fan.
Yeah, but so it takes us a little bit to kind of get involved, but. And we're just as fucking horny as any other people. Yeah. But, I mean, there's got to be a point to it, I think.
Yeah.
And for me, and I know for you too. But, I mean, it would be more beneficial to it would be nice if we could find a cool place that would, and I know that, the one place is there, and we may check it out eventually, the new place. But that's something down the road, but it would be nice to have a spot, whether it's a friend's house or whatever. And I would like to be able to go in and view the rope tying and take kind of like group lessons, if there's a new, I learn pretty quickly. I'm could study, but I'd like to be able to help her with some of that stuff, because I know she enjoys that.
Yeah.
So but yeah, the sex thing, that is a big, huge stigma in the kink world.
I hear it everywhere I go. Anybody and everybody that I talk to about anything that I do.
Yeah.
Even me as a robot, and they're like, oh my God, do you get off on that? No. If anything, me being tied up and bound in place is something that fucking calms me. Yeah. It's the one time my brain shuts up. My wheel is constantly going with 20 different wheels inside of it going. So being able to shut it off and just exist without all the noise is a big thing for me. That's what I get from it as a rope bottom when I allow somebody else to tie me in a full-on scene.
Right.
if I'm just, I've bought them for many, and a lot of time it's just educational where they're learning to tie on me. I volunteered to do that as well. They got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Why put the inexperienced with the inexperienced?
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
But you're probably a good teacher, so.
I was going to say, it goes back to the teaching.
She's
Blame it on the training.
Yeah, there you go. If they fuck it up, it's your fault.
Hey, I got nobody but to blame but myself then.
Right.
So,
what
else?
Well, I was going to switch gears again.
Yeah.
This is my ADD brain.
Go for it.
Pardon me. But if you think of something, feel free to shoot it in there. So, she tells me that you guys might be thinking about possibly in the future doing something similar to this.
Yeah. Not my face in it, though.
Well, no, you can do just audio, but you see how I put all those words in front of doing something like this? Because it's like, hey, maybe.
Yeah. Couple of different genres. One, to possibly end up recapping what we talk about with womb. That's a big one. Not everybody can make it. Being that I hold it in St. Augustine, that's a huge deal breaker for a lot of folks. Being that it's a Sunday from 11 to 1, it's a weird time, but for me it works. And it's my house. So.
Plus, I'm in the belief that a lot of the stuff they talk about should be heard, and it should be shared, and it shouldn't just die right there on the vine. I think it needs to be out there, and I think that's an important one.
Yeah, definitely the community thing, and that is, in my opinion, that is one of those things, sort of like kink does not all kink is sex only, but I think that education needs to be pushed. That agenda needs to be pushed onto the table more often, in my opinion.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that handicapped this community was COVID. There used to be a lot more education opportunities. With the onslaught of COVID and a lot of people unsure, and especially some of the older community, as far as the kink community goes, they sheltered. They went underground and they just quit going out and about. So this community lost a lot of its great resources that they had for education.
Yeah.
And so, you've got a few people trying to pick up the pieces and trying to do the best that they can. But when, what's the saying goes, it's many hands.
Yeah.
Too many hands in a cookie jar?
No. What is it?
us.
Many hands. Yeah.
Hey.
Someone say cookies.
All right, show over.
She's got the
Many
munchies.
hands make light work.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
That's the issue right now, is there's just not a lot of education within the Jacksonville community or Jacksonville greater community.
Yeah.
When we look at St. Augustine, for example, there is jack shit in St. Augustine. As far as I know, when it comes to education, I'm it. If there's others out there, I would love to get a hold of me, because I do have StAugustinekink.com. I try to make sure that
nice
anything.
Plug, by the way.
I'm fucking good at this. I have taught different things for the last 20 years. Okay, so I'm like the person that's in it for the long haul. Married for 20 years. I've been at the same job for 21 years.
Yeah.
And when you pitch shit to the president of the company and you want them to buy your shit, you got to plug it just right.
Yeah, that makes sense. For sure.
But no, for StAugustinekink.com, though, I try to feature a lot of the educational stuff that's available within the local area. It's slow starting because it's primarily me that does all of the website work itself, getting everything pulled together and posted. But the ultimate goal is to be able to hold all of the education that we have going on within St. Augustine and the greater area, as well as charity work. Charity work is a very big thing that is near and dear to my heart. With the St. Augustine Munch, we support a local small business restaurant.
Right.
It's the same restaurant. We've been going to that same restaurant for about 1.5 years now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Mom and pop owned place.
Yeah.
it's not this large chain conglomerate that.
I'd probably love to see you coming now.
Oh yeah, dude. We had it's always ups and downs. When you're running Munches, you could have 3 people or 50.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go, or I'm a maybe. And then it's like, phew. And they pull a scarecrow on you where it's like, okay, yeah, the people that said maybe do show up. And the people that said yes don't show up.
Yeah. I'm definitely guilty.
I'm going to throw something at you for that, by the way.
I mean, I have good intentions and we want to get out, you know, but sometimes life just fucking takes over.
Life fucking happens. Believe me, I know. I'm the one that works 65 plus hours a week,
right? And
I still have my hands in a lot of this stuff, and I'm there as much as I possibly can be. I know it's difficult, and unfortunately, to the detriment of my family, they get put on the back burner sometimes because I have so many things that I do run,
or they have to just roll with you.
Yeah, well, and being that our daughter.
Depends.
He's like,
that all depends on what she's doing at that time.
Right.
It would be your daughter. You know what your daughter did? Or
Yeah. Oh, no.
If there's ever any cops involved, that's her daughter.
I don't even know this person, officer.
Never seen her before in my life.
Right?
Even though she's a spitting image.
She's a spitting image of you. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Oh, Lord.
The poor kid is her dad from the waist up, and she's me from the waist down. So she's a fucking linebacker.
Nice. Well, put her on the football team.
If she didn't, fall over from heat exhaustion from being outside for 5 minutes, we probably would have.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she's got his issues to heat. And
so you're probably dying right now because it's hot in here.
Actually, I'm all right.
It's not bad. You're right underneath that halogen light there.
I mean, yeah, it's really hot. It got worse.
As soon as I said, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind.
But it got to the point where it's like, she was getting old enough.
Yeah.
That we have a very open dialogue about a lot of things in our household. My kid knows that I beat people's asses. She knows that I tie them up. She knows that I have girlfriends. She knows a lot. Age appropriate, but
right.
She understands a lot of the stuff that is going on. And I do ties at the house when she's there. I'm not fucking the person. I'm not groping them. I'm applying dead grass and putting them in the air and letting them enjoy their time.
Right.
So it's all in how you present it and educate the younger folk. Well, she's around for it all. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. She can start coming to the Munches. I don't give a damn. And, the one thing is I did get a little pissy about was somebody wanted to start going around and taking pictures with everybody to post on FET. And they walked up to her and I'm like, excuse me. And like the mama bear came out and I'm like, she's a fucking minor.
Yeah.
Not now, but then.
Not now, but yeah, she was 17 at the time. And I don't care. She's still not of age.
Right.
And
how do you that just brought up something to me, and I know we've kind of talked about this before, but the age limit on FET.
Oh yeah.
I know it's 18 and up. I feel like it should be a little higher, honestly. And
dude, if you can't fucking drink until you're 21, you can't smoke cigarettes until you're 21 now, FET needs to go up to 21.
Yeah.
Match society.
I guess maybe it's just something.
I don't feel like an
me.
18-year-old is mentally
there.
Not all
for
of them, no.
that particular environment,
And I don't know. Like I'll be like, as we do, you scroll and you go, oh, and all you see is a thumbnail that's this large.
Yeah.
And you're like,
ooh, booty.
Click.
And I'm, is she old enough?
19 years old. I'm like,
no. Yeah.
No. Can't do it.
There are some that are that range from 18 to 21 that do have a lot more life experience and they have a little more maturity. And I get it because you know what? I was one of those kids.
Yeah, I would never stop anybody from like being in the lifestyle, but man, it just makes me, and just because it makes me feel all weird inside doesn't mean that it has to change. You know, that's not what I'm saying at all.
No, for me, I think a lot of it is maturity level. You know, dude, you can't even get decent car insurance until you're fucking 25. Yeah. Okay? So, you know, obviously, that's something based upon a person's maturity level and their ability to make decisions in a flash of a moment. Unless I'm wrong, you know, unless somebody knows something about car insurance that I don't. You know, but that's, you know, that's where a lot of it revolves around is because of the ability to make, you know, specific decisions, especially in a flash, you know. That was funny. That just reminded me of our honeymoon. on our way to our honeymoon.
You have to.
On our way to our honeymoon, we stopped at our insurance agency because he was over the age of 25 and I wasn't. And I had my insurance. I dropped mine and went on to his just so my rate wouldn't be as bad as it was.
But his went through the roof.
It actually didn't raise that much.
No, not bad.
No. But mine, it dropped dramatically for me.
Okay.
It did.
Yeah.
Which was really surprising.
Because they're like, she's with an adult now.
Yeah. Yeah. I got my daddy.
Love that.
So daddy from the day I said I did.
Whether you did or whether you didn't know. For sure.
Well, because that 03, I was 22 when we got married, wasn't I? Yeah, 03, yeah. Because it was, oh, man. I wasn't even 21 yet when we started dating.
Yeah.
It was right, you know, it was 6 months before I turned 21 that we started to date. So.
It's a love story. I love it.
Well, actually, if you want to know the real love story, I won't name names or situations, but somebody that he knew back in the day, I went to school with.
Right.
And I had the biggest crush on her. He knew her.
Okay.
And she was like his little sister.
Okay.
And years later, we're dating. And he kept talking about this person. I'm like, I know who that is. I know who that is.
Oh, God.
This sounds familiar. I'm like, do you have a picture? He's like, yeah. Here. I'm like, oh, my God. I wanted to fuck her.
Oh, no.
Talk about coming full circle.
St. Augustine, dude.
No
Small place.
Yeah.
So
did you?
No.
I mean, it was the only natural question after all that. I mean, you know.
No. We all had our lives, and we grew up, and like it was great. It was fun when we finally met for the first time after God, it was so many years in between.
That's pretty funny.
So, but you hung out with her again?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's super
I'm
cool.
still friends with her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, I talked to her this morning.
Yeah.
With her this morning on the messages.
Oh, that's really cool.
Well, our daughter was house sitting for somebody, and it just so happens that his friend, our friend, lives right around the corner from the person she was house sitting for, and she's like, "Ma, I need sodas." I'm like, I'm nowhere near you. Like, what do you expect me to do? This is why I asked you, what do you need? What do you want before I actually take you up there? And so I messaged our friend. I'm like, yo, can you go grocery shopping for my kid? She's right around the corner from you. And she's like, yeah, sure. And she went to the grocery store, bought the kids sodas and Pop-Tarts or some bullshit. I don't even remember what. I'm like, just tell me how much I owe you, and I'll Venmo it to you.
Wow, that's great. It's good to have friends like that. We keep to ourselves so much that we don't really have a lot of those.
I think working from home has fucked me over a little bit on that.
Well, part of it for us is because we grew up in St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did off and on. You were here a hell of a lot more than I was. But, we have a lot of roots to St. Augustine. Mm-hmm. So obviously having that same group of people, for me off and on, but for him it was very consistent.
Right.
And most of them, not all of them, but most of them have stuck around.
The key ones.
Well, they ended up in the Jacksonville area, but the key folks actually kind of stuck around, where some of the ones that were not so close, they all kind of drifted off, did their own thing.
Yeah.
Or ended up in jail.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I wasn't going to go there.
So are all of your friends in the kink community, or
no,
some of your closest?
Well,
friends,
all of my friends are kink, but his now.
Right.
I have a lot of friends go, wait, tell me again what goes on.
Yeah.
Do you talk about it a lot with your people, or you keep it kind of?
I don't.
Well, the one, yes.
Yeah, the one I do, and the others I kind of don't, because believe it or not, they're my age or older, and they still don't have the maturity to understand it, because going back to the whole, it's
about sex.
Yeah.
But in this one particular friend of mine, that's all he thinks of.
Right.
He thinks every time she's doing rope, she's fucking whoever she's.
I mean, I don't know if that's just guilty male stuff, because I think about fucking all the time as well, but I know how to differentiate kink from sex.
Yeah.
So it's
this
every
person also,
third breath I'm fucking thinking about sex.
They got upset because I wore a shirt that says "I'm not a lesbian, but my girlfriend is."
Aha. Lord. That sounds like something you'd wear.
But he has a hard time separating, because he's never actually been involved in something like that.
Yeah.
So all he thinks of is a Dear Penthouse Forum.
Of course.
That's in his brain.
Wait, he actually read those?
Well, that's assuming he reads. But,
because I didn't read those, and I ruined them.
Well, I think he saw the headline, getting to the pictures.
Right.
Oh, that's not it. That's not. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. It's got to be difficult, I'm sure. I tried my hardest to not. There's a few people that know, and then it kind of gets around, and then people come up and ask you stupid questions, and they get stupid answers. But I mean, your coworkers don't ever talk. Oh wait, she works from home by herself.
Yeah.
Well, she could be asking herself about it.
She talks to the dogs about it all the time.
Yeah.
So
really
you know what's
back.
I've actually worked from home since 2011.
Right.
But I have to deal with people internationally. I cannot tell you how many times on a Wednesday night that I've had my laptop. I'm sitting in my car at the club holding a conference call with the Philippines. And I'm like, okay, I got to go back to class. And the one's like, oh, I didn't know you teach. I'm like, yeah, I teach. Oh, what do you teach? And I'm like, rope. And they're like, what?
What is that?
And
that's a weird
I'm in the Boy Scouts.
name.
and
earn my badge.
My boss at the time, which happens to be my boss again now, he's like, yeah, well, she can teach you how to tie your husband up and suspend him from the ceiling.
So they'll actually say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, funny. It's how you present it a lot of times, and I talk about it enough. I've desensitized a lot of the people around me. And, and a lot of times I do forget that, I've got newer people that don't quite know me, and I'll say something about rope and they're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
I'm like, Shibari.
You got to be careful, or it's a trip to HR.
No, well, see, you got to watch. I watch how I say it, and but I talk about it from the educational aspect of it. It's always about class, and I hold a lot of classes too.
Yeah.
So, and help other people run their classes or teach or whatever the case may be. I just talk about it like it's like tying my shoe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the whole stripper pole thing became, people learning that became like a thing, like a workout almost. And whereas I could see this as being something similar. I'm certain it's a workout,
Oh yeah.
And if nothing else, it's similar to probably yoga. You said stretching muscles, doing all these things. I've seen some people put into positions that I'm like, I don't look comfortable at all.
Have you looked at my St. Augustine rope bite Instagram?
Probably not. I did not yet.
I need to show you that one.
See, yeah, we should have done that so I could have posted there too. I did post on Instagram, but I couldn't tag you. So,
Oh,
because we weren't following each other on
Oh.
Instagram, just Facebook.
Oh, okay.
It's all right.
Well,
though.
we'll have to rectify that.
Yeah, we'll have to rectify it.
I'll wreck something, all right.
Wrecked him. Dang near killed him.
But speaking of rope, so we've got the St. Augustine rope bite.
Right.
It's normally the first and third Sunday of the month at my house.
Okay.
So I teach that. I teach wax classes. I haven't decided on if I'm going to do impact classes or not. There's so many people that do impact around here.
Really?
Yeah.
It's probably the most popular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But there's so many that teach it. It's like, do I really want to get in and do a class on impact when, okay, don't hit here. It's more about,
there's more to it than that.
I like the floggers. I've got some nice home.
I need to get some new ones, but it's hard for us. Like I said, we've got
Littles.
all the littles in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Amy's usually gone on the weekends, but her dad had to work this weekend.
Hey,
so.
that's all right. I don't.
And then your daughter's sometimes here on weekends, sometimes not. So
my daughter's she's like the town vagrant.
She wanders in, wanders out. You never know. She's coming or going.
Oh, but we traumatized my daughters before she moved in. She was staying here, and they were still living here. Both my daughters.
Mm-hmm. That was
either before my grandson was born or like right when he was born. But they were both.
It was after.
Your grandpa?
It was after.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
All right. Whoa. If you play your cards right, we can make that happen. Yeah, but we were in my room having this, and these walls are fucking just paper thin.
So are ours.
Yeah, this house was built in '74, and there was never anything done to it. You know, and they were across the living room in their room, and we were having a session, and we say that it's not always about sex, but sometimes with couples it does turn into that.
Oh yeah.
So we were just being animalistic a bit. I tend to get a little crazy, and my daughters thought I was murdering her. Or something.
That's when you know it's good.
Yeah. The one came out of her room and went into the other one's room, and they were like, "What are they doing here?" Because all you hear is
I had gone out on a road trip. I used to travel a lot for work. And I come home, and my girlfriend at the time, she was staying at the house for a couple of days while I was out of town. And I came home, and her and the kid were out in the living room watching TV together, and him and I are in the bedroom fucking around, and yeah. I'm normally not very loud.
right.
Apparently I was this time. So we went to go leave the bedroom because I'm like, I said something about I need a cigarette. And as he's opening the door, my girlfriend at the time is standing there. And she's like, I need a cigarette after that. And my kid and my girlfriend were sitting in the living room.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, our kiddos discovered the true love of over-the-ear headphones.
Yes.
Maybe that's why Evie always wears those over-the-ear headphones.
We keep her supplied with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's got Bluetooth wired. Back up.
Yes.
In-ear that noise
Maybe
canceling.
that's why mine got. She just recently bought a headset. I will drop dime on some nice noise canceling headphones for them for sure if it'll allow us.
Get the ones with adjustable frequencies. Figure out the frequency.
Right on. Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. I like that. That's a good idea. We're always looking for opportunities to expand our fun time.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I don't know. I hate to keep you guys. I know it was a long trip. I know you'll talk forever, and so will I. But I'm sure you need a cigarette. I mean, if you want, we can wrap it up. We're about an hour and 23 minutes.
Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, it goes fast. It goes fast. I mean, Omar and I were doing 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, and people were like,
I think that's a bit much, isn't it?
yeah, but the people
People
you don't
hang
even
in.
realize. You just don't even realize that it's that. And if the conversation's like really popping and good,
Yeah.
Like I know for me, I'll hang into a podcast, for hours.
Yeah.
Because when I'm working, I mean, I work 10 hours a day. If it was a 3-hour podcast, I mean, I can get at least, 2.25 in, but.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as far as classes, everything that I've got going on, like I said, Rope Bite is the first and third Sunday of the month. That one's from 1 to 4.
Okay.
It's 1 to 4. Womb is the second Sunday of the month, and that one's 11 to 1.
Okay.
And occasionally that fourth Sunday of the month, I may throw something in. And so on the 25th of June, we're actually doing another wax class.
Okay.
That's something that is really kick-ass. You've seen some photos
of
it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
She made a print. Like on a canvas of a picture she took of someone with wax on the titty
under the UV light. So that's one of okay.
When she showed it to me though, I just thought it was something that she did, some art that she did, like that splatter art on the canvas. I was like, wow, that's really cool looking.
I'm like, no, that's a picture I took of the splatter of the wax.
Yeah. Now you got to go back over though with some like glow in the dark paint. And make it glow in the dark too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. That would be absolutely really cool. Because this girl's titty was like just perfect for the wax. Yeah. Like I mean, she was very voluptuous.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you need the titty,
hey,
you better bring a lot of wax. She got some big old.
I got a lot of wax. I got a lot of wax, and I got a lot of patience.
Well, I will definitely send her to you. I'm sure you would enjoy
If you ever want to wax bottom for wax, I've got an opening on the 25th.
For sure. What day is that?
It's a Sunday.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and interject on this too. I've sat in with the wax class a couple of times. It's very educational.
Oh,
there's a lot of stuff if you're not familiar with that lifestyle or into it. Mm-hmm. You go, crap, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I never even considered that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's all about the safety and stuff.
Sure.
When she teaches it.
You can fuck somebody up. I mean, just like anything
well,
in kink.
So a lot of people, the first thing they say is don't use this type of wax. Don't use this type of wax. Right. Don't do this. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. I recommend not using because there are a few of us out there, present company included, that I like to be burned.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like it. Doesn't mean I want it all the time, but, there are certain times where I'm just in that masochistic mood where, burn the fuck out of me, please. And, I mean, you've seen it where literally from my chest down to my knees, I've got blister burns. Like, I've got second and borderline third-degree burns.
Right.
And I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. But
I'm over here like, do I need to call someone?
Just go get some aloe. You'll be fine.
You need medical attention? A grown-up? Something?
But, so it's not, I don't tell people don't do this, and don't do that. I recommend. Mm-hmm. But I give them the information that they need to make a well-informed choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you got to kind of like, imagine you have to let's start slow. And then if you feel like you want to do some other things, you can build up to that.
Yeah. Oh, genitalia waxing is one of the best things in the world. That one is about sex. I will say that. For me, not necessarily with that person, but when I've had my shit waxed before, and it's like, hell yeah. Can we fuck now?
So are you talking about
hot wax,
like wax play, or are you going to the spa and getting your shit waxed?
No.
Hot wax, hot candle wax poured on the vulva.
Okay.
Seriously, hot wax on the clit, the whole 9 yards. It's a lot of fun. It's very erotic, and it's underrated. A lot of people don't experiment with it as much as I think everybody should.
Wow. Duly noted. Hot fucking. Well, I'll have to get some.
If you want to know what wax I buy, it's Parasoy, and it's from Pan's Haven on Etsy.
Okay. Well, I will. All of her links, all of the things that she's got coming up, I'm gonna put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
So it'll be in a link down below on YouTube, and I'll also add it to the audio only podcast, which can be found Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes. What did I said? Apple already. Amazon Music, Google Play, all the things. Yeah,
all the things.
As many podcast providers that we could possibly get listed to, we did. So, and you'll be able to find the link. You know how to find the audio podcast. You were sharing the links already.
Oh yeah.
But
and by the way,
yes,
you already have a spot on StAugustinKink.com.
I have a spot. What do you mean?
You're on my list of podcasts now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, what's funny is that everybody always confuses us with because we're kitchen table discussions. They're like, oh, they're kitchen table poly.
No. Yeah.
But that's not what it was. That's
And I actually, when I was telling a friend about it today, they're like, oh, so it's like kitchen table poly. And I'm like, no. No. I'm like, the way it was described to me is the shit that you talk about around the dinner table, but this is a little beyond that.
Yeah. Well, it's the shit we talk about around our dinner table.
Yeah.
And that's when the kids usually get up and leave because they don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
But, that's what we talk. We talk about all kinds of shit. And that's our podcast. We go all over the place. Sometimes it's kink. Sometimes it's entertainment. I truly don't like talking about politics but
it's too messy.
She likes it. She doesn't like it, but she likes it.
I've tried to pull away a little bit from it because it's not good for my mental health.
No, she's pulled out. Yeah, all over my back. How's that? A little rim shot. I said I wasn't going to mess with you.
It was a rim shot.
Yeah. You'll hear it when you're on the playback.
That's assuming I'll actually listen to my own fucking voice.
You're going to listen to it. You're going to listen to it. I promise you will. Everyone does. And they go, oh, my God, I can't believe I sound like that.
I don't.
She hates her voice. I guess, fucking, vain as fuck or something. Not that I like to hear my voice, but I like to hear it sounding good. I know if it sounds good, I'm like, my shitty voice sounds good. I did a good job on the audio. Good for me. But
I've been told depending on the situation that I have kind of like this suave thing going on how I speak. Years of
you sound good.
Well, for me, it was years of
coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Shh, giving away the secrets,
dude.
Kathleen Turner.
Before I had my thyroid taken out, so my right vocal cord was partially paralyzed.
Oh fuck! Oh,
wow. I actually sounded a lot deeper than I do. I actually sound more like a girl now than I used to.
Yeah, I had my friends like, well, who's that dude that answered the phone?
No,
that's my wife,
I actually did. I had a very deep voice for a female. Yeah. And come to find out, it was because one of my vocal cords wasn't working half the time.
So they just got rid of that fucker, huh?
Well, they had to they took out the thyroid altogether, and they had to re-stretch my vocal cord.
Okay.
So I was without a voice for 6 months.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah.
They came back a little rough for a while there, too.
Yeah, well, it was either high-pitched squeals or squeaks that came out. Like, I went through fucking puberty again.
All the way down to Barry White.
How are my little crackers doing today?
Come on, baby, turn the lights down low.
I don't know. I think it's sexy, and, your guys' voices are great. I think people are going to love them, and... I'm interested to hear y'all's podcast. And if you need any help, I'm here.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you having us on.
Fuck yeah. And any other time you want to come on, and hopefully by the next time I'll have like an AC vent. Yeah.
So I can Eskimo up.
Right. Because I saw you take the guns out. I was like, she's hot.
Well, that's the whole hysterectomy and I don't do hormone replacement therapy,
Okay.
so I have some bouts where it's like, whew, it's a little warm in here.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like, what's his face? Get no respect.
Oh, Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, like literally, like all of a sudden you'll see him start sweating when he's up on stage.
Yeah.
That's like all of a sudden out of nowhere, I feel like fucking Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, you didn't get too shiny. You're good.
No, I put on so much fucking makeup because I knew there were lights, and I'm like, oh shit, am I using the right colors because I don't want to look washed out? I used to do drag makeup.
Okay.
Back when I was 19.
That's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
See, this is why we were talking for 7.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's just one thing. Way, as Mike Rowe would say, way leads to way.
Yeah. So I'll shut up.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're absolutely good.
Save it for the next show.
That's right. We gotta hit him with a cliffhanger. You know, that's what I've found out. You've got to do next time on Kitchen Table Discussions.
How do drag queens take off the tape?
That is a good question. Probably very slowly.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, just rip it right off.
You have to tune in next episode.
That's right. That's right. Here I am. I'm already ready. I'm ready to go.
I've got him engrossed. I've got him entrenched.
Isn't that what they always say? The mark of a good storyteller, leave them wanting more.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so
you.
much for driving all the way out here and hanging out with us for a little while. And thank you guys for listening. And the one person that came in the live, we appreciate you. It's probably me. I'm logged in. But please don't forget all the information for Silver will be in the links below, and give us a like and a share and a subscribe. Hit that little bell. You'll get notified anytime we go live. And that's it. See you.
Peace.